Good day, I'm Tamara McHale and this is your JIS News for Monday, June 6. Jamaica is to benefit significantly from the implementation of a $1 billion Economic Partnership Agreement EPA project. The project is being funded by the European Union and implemented by the Planning Institute of Jamaica PIOJ in 2 phases. It aims to create an enabling environment that supports increased compliance in agriculture and agribusiness exports. Project Cycle Management Specialist with the EU unit, Marjorie Stair, says agriculture, industry and commerce are among the primary sectors that have benefited from the project's first phase. Focus was initially placed on increasing exports of fresh produce to Europe and resulted in the upgrading of several local food safety labs.
And that result is increased capacity for product testing and certification for compliance with international standards.
Ms. Stair was speaking at a recent JIS think tank. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is asserting that the removal of mandatory auxiliary fees will not adversely affect the cash flow of secondary schools. The Prime Minister was speaking with Ian Boyne during a special JIS interview this weekend. He argued that when government began to offset the full cost of schooling in the next academic year, administrators would have a more certain cash flow.
The truth is that no school can claim 100% compliance with entry fees. None. What this will do is to increase technically government subsidy per student, the entry fee per student, to approximately $19,000 per student. This will increase the intake by all schools.
The Prime Minister also reiterated that the policy still allowed for those parents who can pay to continue contributing to their children's education. At another function recently, the Prime Minister called for an end to the informality culture in Jamaica. Mr. Holness said that while he understood the issues of privacy and mistrust of the state among some citizens, it was important that persons join the partnership he had committed to build.
So that there is no need for any citizen to feel the necessity of hiding from the state in the informal sector.
A preliminary seismic survey to look for evidence of oil in Jamaica has been completed. The survey was conducted between February and March this year by UK oil company Tullow Jamaica Limited. It was done as part of a production sharing agreement with the Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica PCJ. While addressing a recent JIS think tank, manager of oil and gas at the PCJ, Brian Richardson, said the seismic survey allowed for pictures to be taken below the seabed offshore Jamaica using sound waves.
They've taken that data, it's back with them in the UK, and they're going through a processing period where they crunch numbers around this sound information that they have to try and get an understanding of the geology that they walked around the island and see if they see similarities in those images of the subsurface.
Mr. Richardson said that following that processing, the team would begin other computerized interpretations of the data.
And what the PCJ expects is at the end of that they will have indications if there is something that is of keen interest to them that they may want to go and do a further seismic survey.
The second leg of government's national cleanup campaign began targeting Portland communities on the weekend. The exercise began on Saturday in Port Antonio and will impact nearly 50 communities in the parish.
It is our intention to collect what we call the bulky waste, not just the bulky waste, but anything that is movable, anything that you deem to be unfit, that should be taken away. The program is going to continue for at least another 7 days, not just here in the eastern part of Portland, but in the western part of Portland.
The local government minister said the Portland communities were selected following assessments jointly conducted by the Ministry of Health and Social Development Commission. The second stage of the national cleanup campaign follows the launch in St. James in April. The initiative is part of government's intervention to eliminate mosquito breeding sites and the spread of diseases such as the Zika virus. And finally, several activities are planned this week to sensitize stakeholders and policymakers of the importance of accreditation in several engagements, including trade, consumer protection, and healthcare. The activities, which began with a church service yesterday, are part of this year's commemoration of World Accreditation Day on Thursday, June 9. The Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation, JANAC, is leading the local observance under the theme Accreditation, a global tool to support public policy.
And we want to show that accreditation is a tool, it's a practical tool that can be used to engage our stakeholders and, in fact, to ensure that these social and economic policies are properly implemented.
JANAC's Chief Executive Officer Sharon May Shirley was addressing a JIS think tank last Friday. The week of activities continues tomorrow with a technical seminar, webinar and a poster exhibition at the Knutsford Court Hotel, as well as a public forum at the University of the West Indies Science Lecture Theatre. The week culminates on Thursday, June 9 with a dinner and award ceremony to recognize the work of several outstanding persons and institutions. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Tamara McHale. Thanks for watching.